Roger that.
Hey guys, welcome back. So, I figured I'd make a new video. What is this one going to be about? Of course you already know, I've already stated what it was going to be in the intro. Of course. Making mistakes as a new player. Who hasn't done that, right? Nah, I've never done that. I'm a pro. Yeah, right. I'll never claim to be that. At least not yet. Yeah. 5 years of War Thunder and you think I would be, but nope. Nope, still making my share. Nothing new there. This game ever evolving. New people come and go, new tactics. For the most part, it's all the same. You just need to be patient. Gotta know those limitations. You know? That's the big thing. Anyway, let's get going here. Yes. So what is the biggest problem I had as a newbie? What is the biggest mistake I ever made? Well, obviously you got into fights that you shouldn't have, right? Well, what happens when you get into the fights you shouldn't? You get a bloody nose. Biggest ones that I got into were furballs, thinking I should turn fight everything. I was starting out in the US tree. That was a big mistake. That's the last nation you want to try turn fighting. Most of those planes are not suited for turn fighting at all. Now maybe if I had started in the Japanese tree, it would have been perfect, but nope. So that was the biggest thing that I had a problem with. I did not understand the strengths and weaknesses of my allies, including my own, and the enemy planes that I was facing. Now, yeah, I know a lot of that comes with experience, but, you know, having a little bit of foresight would have went a long way. Because at that point you can play to your advantage and not theirs. And turn fighting in a US plane in the early tiers, pretty much the whole tier. There's some exceptions obviously, but you know, for the most part, the US tree is not really predicated on turn fighting at all. So you're playing into the enemy's hands when you do something like that, and that's what I was doing. Then it's at one point you're like, hey, I must be doing something wrong because I'm getting killed all the time. What is it that I'm doing wrong? So you start to look into things and figure stuff out, learn about it, and realize that the US plane's not really suited for this type of fighting that I was trying to do. But I learned that I should maybe climb a little bit. But one of the biggest drawbacks to that is that once I understood the energy concepts, I actually overdid the climbing and ended up being halfway into space and half the team killed before I even got in the match. Which brings me to my second point. You know, the biggest mistakes you can make are not climbing enough and actually over climbing. Now you're probably thinking, well, how can I over climb if not climbing enough is bad? How can over climbing be worse? Well, I wouldn't say worse, but it could be worse. It's definitely counterintuitive. And the reason why I say that is because you're not really contributing to the fight while you're climbing. And a lot of matches can be decided fairly early. Especially if there's a bunch of people that don't take the time to climb and you're kind of one of the few that do. And that happens quite a bit in the US tree. At least it used to. I haven't played low tier enough lately to know if that's still the case, but you know, back in the day when the US tree was widely misunderstood, it was very difficult to get a group of players to actually climb and help. But if you can manage to get a few of you at least up there to have the energy advantage and not over climb, it can help you. It can help you, can help your team, can help the match. You need to have that balance. And some maps are going to call for more climbing than others. If you're against a German team in early tier, you know that they're going to be climbing well in their BF. So make sure you take the time to climb. Their advantage predicates on being the higher planes, and if you can take that advantage away, that's just another reason or another advantage you can take away from them. So let's see here. Something. Well, I didn't really manage energy well in the beginning. Some planes obviously retain energy better than others. Some planes are better suited for the turn fighting style, such as Japanese. But you know, understanding the strengths and weaknesses of those planes and managing their energy is important. I know there are some planes that may be suited for turn fighting, such as Spitfires, but they don't retain that energy once they use it in their turns. They may be able to turn well, but once they have used and expended that energy, they generally have a difficult time getting it back, at least immediately. Some have an advantage of getting it back sooner. You know, the Spitfires are really good at accelerating, so it doesn't take long for them to regain it, but it does. You know, if you can take advantage of that time that they're low on energy, that's advantage to you. Another thing I didn't do well was I zoom climbed around enemies and didn't wait until, you know, I was clear or had a clear advantage before I did my zoom climbing in the US tree. A lot of times I would try to go vertical sooner rather than later, and kind of got caught with some people taking shots as I was climbing. So I would suggest that if you're in a plane suited for boom and zoom, that you at least look around, try to make sure that you're clear of any enemies, and if not, just kind of continue more along a straight path. Clear yourself out of the way a little bit more before you try that zoom climb, so that you can get yourself out of harm's way. That was one of the biggest mistakes I used to make when I was learning the boom zoom tactics and actually trying to manage my energy. I would get caught in those situations where, yeah, I might have been managing that energy and turning my kinetic into potential by the zooming, but I was still in harm's way, and that could be devastating. And then obviously, if you're not helping your teammates when you're able to, it's going to be detrimental to the match. It helps the team if you really kill the enemy before they kill your allies, because they can in turn help you out. So knowing your allies' positions and how you can help them out could be advantageous to winning the match. But you really don't want to sacrifice your position and make yourself vulnerable trying to do this. So, you know, don't dive down 4,000 or 5,000 meters to try and help an enemy when it's more important for you to retain that altitude and take enemies that are up high, and, you know, just to save somebody down low. Sometimes your allies put themselves in situations, and it's unfortunate, but if they're not willing to climb early in the match and take the time to do what they need to do to stay alive, then sometimes that's on them. So, but if you have a position and you're not going to make yourself vulnerable, there's no reason for you to try and help your allies. I mean, an ally that is being targeted by an enemy, that enemy is generally easier to target because they're focused on somebody else, and you can generally try to get in position a little bit easier than if you were one-on-one. Alright? So that's another reason, and mistake I used to make. And finally, and this is something I threw in at the last minute because I thought it was kind of funny, but it's kind of true. I used to play on the PS4, and I still have the PS4 tag on my name, but that's because I've originated from PS4. I've since transferred to the PC for a number of reasons. PS4 interface is much better. The graphics is better, or the graphics are better, I should say. The PS4 analog stick is nice for the simulator, but I didn't really have head tracking at the time, and I still don't play on the PS4, so I don't use any of that stuff. It was kind of difficult to use the mouse with the analog stick. It was simulated mouse movements, but it was not the same. I found the PC to be much easier. Yeah, you can hook a keyboard and mouse to your PS4, but considering the graphics and interface are not as good as the PC, it just seemed much better to transfer entirely. Plus, that analog stick, if you really want to play simulator, can be used on the PC already. So, I mean, you get the best of all worlds on PC. Not that I'm knocking the PS4 players or anything like that. There can be some advantages to being on a PS4. You know, the simulator controls are a little bit easier because of the dual stick or DualShock. But for the most part, I just prefer the PC. Yep. Oh, so that's it for me tonight. Hopefully some of this helped you out a little bit. If there's any thing that you think I could add or modify, please let me know and subscribe. Thanks for listening. See you next time, guys. Bye.